The T28 Super Heavy Tank. A rolling fortress of steel, the T28 was designed not for speed, agility, or maneuver warfare, but for one singular purpose: to smash through the strongest enemy fortifications and survive the heaviest fire the battlefield could offer. The origins of the T28 project lay in early 1945, when US Army planners recognized that defeating Germany's defensive lines would require more than conventional armor. The Siegfried Line, also known as the West Wall, consisted of deeply entrenched bunkers, concrete pillboxes, and anti-tank obstacles that had already proven impervious to medium and heavy tanks. Planners envisioned a vehicle that could approach these obstacles head-on, survive sustained artillery and anti-tank fire, and fire upon and destroy fortified positions with unmatched destructive power. The T-28 was conceived as that vehicle, a mobile fortress capable of clearing paths for infantry and other armored units alike. The T-28 was extraordinary in its scale and ambition. Weighing in at nearly 95 tons, it was one of the heaviest tanks ever built. Its hull measured over 8 meters in length, and it featured thick, heavily sloped armor, with the front plate reaching nearly 305 mm in thickness. Designers sloped the armor to increase effective protection against German 75 mm, 88 mm, and even the feared 105 mm anti-tank guns. In practical terms, the T-28 could withstand nearly any weapon fielded by German forces, though this protection came at a cost. The tank was slow, cumbersome, and impossible to transport by conventional means. Its armament reflected the T-28's intended role. At the heart of the tank was the massive 105 mm T5E1 gun, mounted in a fixed superstructure rather than a rotating turret. This allowed for thicker frontal armor and a more robust design capable of surviving direct hits. Secondary armament included coaxial 50 caliber machine guns, intended for suppressing infantry and light targets. The fixed gun and massive frontal armor reinforced the T-28's role as a bunker buster and breakthrough tank, designed to punch through enemy defenses rather than engage in mobile tank versus tank combat. Mobility, however, was a significant challenge. At 95 tons, the T-28 could barely achieve 8 miles per hour on roads, with off-road speeds even lower. Its weight demanded a 500 horsepower gasoline engine, coupled with a complex transmission system designed to move its enormous mass across varied terrain. The tank's tracks and suspension were engineered to distribute weight effectively, preventing the vehicle from bogging down in softer soil, but even so, bridges, roads, and transport infrastructure severely constrained its operational deployment. Moving the T-28 to the front lines was a logistical feat in itself, requiring specially reinforced routes and careful planning to avoid mechanical failure or immobilization. The T-28's design included a fixed turret superstructure, a choice that maximized frontal armor while limiting traverse. To aim the 105 mm gun, the entire hull needed to be maneuvered, a slow and deliberate process that made the tank vulnerable to flanking attacks. But in the planned operational scenario, directly assaulting heavily fortified positions, the T-28's combination of armor and firepower would allow it to dominate. Engineers calculated that it could survive multiple hits from enemy anti-tank weapons while neutralizing bunkers and pillboxes that had halted other armored units. 2 prototypes of the T-28 were constructed at the Fisher Tank Arsenal, each undergoing extensive testing at Aberdeen Proving Ground. Trials revealed both the promise and limitations of the vehicle. Its armor and firepower exceeded expectations. The 105 mm gun could penetrate the thickest concrete fortifications, and the tank could survive hits that would destroy any other Allied vehicle. Yet its mobility constraints and extreme weight posed serious operational problems. It could not cross standard bridges, its top speed was painfully slow, and its enormous size made concealment impossible. Despite these challenges, the T-28 project was a remarkable feat of engineering, demonstrating the lengths to which designers would go to solve specific battlefield problems. The T-28's potential role was as much psychological as it was practical. Its sheer size, imposing frontal armor, and massive gun were intended to intimidate defenders and break enemy morale. infantry and tank crews alike would see it approaching as an unstoppable force, a literal steel juggernaut capable of reducing fortifications to rubble. In theory, it could lead assaults on the Siegfried Line, paving the way for medium tanks, infantry, and artillery to exploit breaches created by its firepower. Its designers imagined it as a centerpiece of combined arms operations, the ultimate heavy breakthrough vehicle. However, history intervened before the T28 could be deployed. By the time prototypes were completed and tested in 1945, the German front lines were collapsing under the combined weight of Allied advances. The need for such a specialized assault tank had vanished. The war in Europe ended before the T28 could participate in combat, and the strategic calculus shifted. Speed, mobility, and mass production capability became more important than the raw armor and firepower of super heavy vehicles. The T28, remarkable as it was, had outlived its immediate wartime purpose. Despite never seeing combat, the T28 left a lasting impact on armored warfare. Its design philosophy influenced post-war thinking about the balance between armor, firepower, and mobility. Engineers and military planners recognized that while extreme armor and firepower could create a nearly indestructible vehicle, practical considerations, logistics, transport, and tactical flexibility must also guide design. The lessons of the T28 informed subsequent American heavy tank programs, including the development of the M103 and, eventually, the main battle tank concepts that would dominate Cold War armored doctrine. The T28 also serves as a symbol of the ambition and ingenuity of wartime American engineering. Faced with the challenge of defeating some of the most formidable fortifications in Europe, designers dared to imagine a tank unlike any other. Every rivet, track, and turret plate reflected a calculated decision to maximize survivability and firepower. It was not designed to be beautiful, nimble, or elegant. It was designed to succeed where conventional tanks could not. In this sense, the T28 embodies the extremes of wartime innovation, a vehicle built for a single, critical purpose, unconstrained by peacetime concerns. Visually, the T28 was imposing. Its hulking, boxy silhouette, enormous tracks, and massive frontal armor gave it the appearance of a mobile fortress. Soldiers and engineers described it as awe-inspiring, a testament to what could be achieved when ambition met necessity. Even decades later, photographs and surviving prototypes in museums evoke a sense of power and invincibility, reminding observers of the extraordinary lengths to which wartime designers would go to overcome tactical obstacles. Operationally, the T28 highlighted the limitations of super heavy tanks in modern warfare. Its slow speed, reliance on reinforced infrastructure, and fixed gun traverse made it unsuitable for rapid maneuvers or fluid battlefields. Its extreme weight limited strategic flexibility, and its production costs were high. Yet within its intended niche, direct assaults on fortified positions, it was nearly unmatched. In a world dominated by mobile warfare, the T28 became a fascinating case study in extreme specialization, a tank built not for versatility, but for absolute dominance in a very narrow operational role. Thanks for watching Top Brass. Hit like and subscribe and click the bell to catch our next look into military history. Stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.